Welcome อาจารย์ขจรศักดิ์
ขอบคุณครับ so actually since Ajahn Tam say that I'm working with the choir, with the singers, so it came up with many issues according to the vocal techniques, according to the tuning and blending and the timbre and all those things. So, and also I'm also teaching at the Faculty of Music Engineering and Multimedia. So it's kind of combine two things together. So right now, today I'm going to present about the resonance in vocal technique analysis. If you just blur the resonance, so we have only the vocal techniques. But the things for today is we use the program to analyze the vocal techniques instead of just listening. Okay, let's see what do we have here. Actually, yes, her name is Rosie. I just got this picture this morning from one of my students. His mom sent me her daughter that she said that Rosie heard me sing this morning and she looks a little bit shocked, and I also very surprised for his daughter face, which is like I just came up with what kind of song did you sing for her, and what's the reaction of the sound that she heard at that time. This is just the overview. So the story is singers, especially when they start training, tend to have many questions concerning to how to control his or her body. This is very important because our body as a musical instrument, we can't see our body, like for example our soft palate, our muscle, our jaw, our larynx, our vocal fold, which is different from the like violin, which is our teacher can show the student, can adjust the ankle, like for example the shifting, but our body we can't see it. So this the point that the issue that the beginning singers very hard to understand the body. So in order to create the sound they want, in fact, that we humans can speak from the birds does not mean everyone can also control that vocal tract. We will talk about it later for the vocal tract. And also which organs are involved to produce the production of human speaking and singing sounds. So from the first paragraph, we're curious to know how to control or want to know which organs of our body involved to produce the sound we want. And the second paragraph, to effectively teach singers, it is necessary to encourage them to observe the relationship between the voice organ and the sound they hear. So for example, when teacher asks the student to sing, like la, after that, teacher will comment and also will give a suggestion. For example, like could you sing it like more open or something like that. Then student will memorize that as the voice that they're gonna use for the next time. So we call it the production of sounds. Okay, the second paragraph we talk about the relationship between the voice organ and the sound. Then so I'm a guest. And And the next thing is, since we know that, so what we are going to do, then the point is we have to help the beginner singer to understand their body, how to control each muscle, or how the relationship between the sound that they produce. So for this study, we use signal processing principle to analyze the singing voice, which is to help them to understand the principles of the voice production by use the program. For example, we record the student sound and then send to the program, and then using the signal processing principle to analyze it, and then put into the graph. We will see it later. So we call it a sound breakdown, which is considered of the amplitude of sound at different frequencies. Okay. Before I go to the experiment, I have to make sure that we all understand the vocal production, which is I separated. It is separated in 4 functions. With the breathing, which is create the air to vibrate the vocal folds. The second, your vocal folds create the pitch. In Thai we call เส้นเสียง, to create the pitch as well as the harmonics. It's normal. It's like piano. When we have the fundamental pitch, we also have the harmonics on the top. And the first thing, the resonator. This is very interesting term, because I wrote that resonator is the only kind of resonator all instruments have them. That can shape, and each tiny shape can have major impact to your sound. And the last thing is the articulator, which is create the phonation. It's like your lips to create the z, v, w. This is where the language comes from. Okay, this is our vocal production, but I would like to emphasize on the resonator. So we are focusing on the resonator. As I told you before, that right now we all agree that there are 4 steps to create the singing voice. The first, breathing. We get the air to the vocal fold, and then send to the resonator, then to the articulator. Then I point out the resonator. The very first verse is the vocal tract. And there are 3 components for every instrument. A power source, which is I talked before, the breathing mechanism, diaphragm, lungs, and oscillators, something that moves the vocal folds. And the last thing, the resonator, which is the vocal tract. Yes, from the picture you will see all these things. This is the resonator, which is engaged. It engaged to many muscle. Since here, and then send the focusing out to the audience. I have a very good example that talk about the vocal tract, which is from the Voice Science Works. This website really works for students, for understanding and other things. Even me, I wrote a lot about about the main article here. So let's experiment. We just talk about the vocal tract. You said that vocal tract is a container of the air that starts from the top of vocal folds and goes all the way to the edge of the lips. And they also classify that the average length of the vocal tract of males is about 17 centimeters, and also 14 for the females. This is a picture that I showed you before. Okay, let's see how, if we adjust the resonator, how it affects to the sound. Then they changed. Oh no, just the same thing. Yes, now you understand that the source, I mean the pitch is the same, but when you change the vocal tract, then you get the sound different. So, how we adjust the vocal tract? We also have lips, tongue, siding, and also the lightings, which is a part of the vocal folds. Also the jaw. The soft palate. And other things, which is, as I told you before, that the vocal tract is engaged to many muscles, many parts. Then we cannot separate or say exactly that this muscle create this create this, affect to this, but it's kind of related to each other. So, yes, more factor that I'm going to lead you. This is the point, which affect to the vocal tract. So I just pick one factor, which is the max area. This area, when we all know that when the sound goes to to every part of the instrument, we get different color, different timbre. The same principle as our body. So when we send our voice to a specific place, we also get the different color. The one that I pick is the mask area, which is related is related to nasal bone, the zygomatic bone, and also three bones which is affect to that sound. This is came up with the new term that we are going to talk about, which is the singing with the projection and without the projection, which is the vibrating. The principle is the vibrating the bones of the mask area by allowing the air pass into the nasal cavity. So it's like you put your round speaker in different places of the body, then you get the sound in different timbre. Okay, I'm going to analyze the singing voice by using the program called MATLAB. So we have two terms to analyze, which is the singing with projection and without the projection. Yes. So make sure that singing with projection is you send the air through the nasal to that three bones. And singing without, it means you just let the air flow without through these bones. Okay, let's set the results. I'll show you the recording that we did for the first student. Yes, we just asked 6 students to involve this project, and then let's see what they did. The first student, her name is Som. Okay, this perfect. Without. Yes, you also heard that's louder because she also used more air. But the place that they send the air to is different. Let's pick here. We also have male singers. Yes. La, lo. Yes. We also have we heard the same pitch but in different color. So my study is to see what it looks like when we just analyze it through the MATLAB program. This is the result. Oh. Yes. For some, so some, yes. For the exit the frequency, we start from, to make sure that you see it, from 0 Hertz to 6,000. And then for the y-axis is the amplitude with the decibel. Yes, for the blue color present the singing without projection, and for the orange one you see singing with the projection. You see the different area here? Yes. This is the point that we are going to point out and to explain later. But if we change to, so in this graph we see the fundamental pitch is the same, but the thing that different is the overtone, which is happened by the projection, singing with the projection. Let's see the result from other students, like from the male singers. Yes, the fundamental frequency is nearly close, nearly the same, but also again, the overtone which in this area is different. Then I compare, we have 6 students, 4 females and 2 male students. So when we put together female student without the projection, so we have 4 students, 3, sorry. It's very look like it's slightly different, but and also the same thing with the projection, female with projection. Yes, we got this area, 3,000 Hertz and 4,000, which is the amplitude is higher. And also the male without the projection. And with the projection, see, you see the areas. I think I also prepare the live analysis, which is using another tools to make you guys understand, which is I also found the application on the iPad that you can download or buy it to use the real-time analysis. For sure, it's not like exactly the result that can rely on, but it will make you more understanding to this kind of analysis. So give me a second to open the application, which is called the spectrum view. Okay, the one that we see, and also today, I asked one of my students to sing for you at this time. Her name is Mint, so please welcome Mint. So I'm going to ask Mint to sing without the projection, without sending the air through this nasal cavity, these bones.
เขาแบบ
ไม่มี
ไม่มีลา ลา
ขอที่ครับ
ลา
แป๊บนึงนะครับ so from this application I'm not going to sell it to you, but I just show it. You can either see this frequency compared to the amplitude or the spectrogram, which is on that part. Actually, I should. One second.
แบบเมื่อกี้ลา
This also is the same, but we change the angle. We have the frequency, we have the time, but the red color is mean louder. The blue color is mean softer. Then I will ask Min to sing with the projection.
ลา
You will see that we have more. มิ้นขอลองอีกทีนึงได้ไหมครับ ลองไม่เอาวิบาโตเลสวิบาโตธรรมดาเหมือนกันอันแรก
อะไรคะ
อันที่สองแป๊บนึงโอเค
ลา
Yes, you will see from here. Sorry, thank you. For this area that we concerning about the 3000 Hz and 4000 Hz, we have more the amplitude compared to this one and this one. I'll try for the male voice, and then let's see what's gonna happen. La la. See, so we get more overtones from this area. Then, ขอบคุณมินมากครับ So from this result, how this principle, how this study make our life easier. The thing is, as I told you before that, we can't see all the muscle of our body, so we need to ask the teacher to just remind us that this sound is correct, this sound is no, this sound is wrong, or this sound is not the place that we should sing. So this, from this principle, then we can encourage the student to see what will affect to the sound that she or he sing. So for the conclusion, I would like to say that this is just the study that to encourage the voice teacher and also the voice students to realize that music is just not just music itself, but it's also related to the physics, or in the other way we can use the physics to explain that it's related to each other, or it embodied to each other. I think that's all for I need to explain. Yeah, thank you.
presentation, please show application again.
Yes.
I will take a photo.
Okay. It's called the spectrum view here on the right on the top spectrum view. But for many many paper that I have read, they use this data to classify other like timbre, the sound quality of the choir, or the passaggio of the singers, which is we hear that, but we have a very difficult time to explain exactly that part. So then we point out, it looks like our ear can hear this range, but the program can show us this wider. Yeah, and then we use the part that our ear have a difficult to analyze it. Then we use the program to help us. Yeah.
Do you imagine that in the near future, the voice teacher will use this kind of tool as part of their lesson as well?
I also think about that. I found that in many laboratories in Edinburgh, in Stanford, in also Indiana, they also use this way to analyze not even the singing techniques and also the normal instrument, musical instrument. And I think we are going to have more. I wish to see more paper or more research about this especially in Thailand. Yeah, because I also working with Kubaimon, which is her friend she's studying the vocal pedagogy. So in NYU, all the textbook is about the spectrogram, the graph, and other things. So it's very different to in Thailand. So we just sing, memorize. So I think it's going to be help the students to understand easily. Yes.
Do you think that you could use this to teach different singing styles, for example, a classical style versus a more rural style, folk style, that you can compare the different types of overtones or harmonics
Yeah.
of voice, and then be able to train students in different ways that focus on how to utilize the full.
I think so. The first thing the answer is I think that it will help, but we have to classify the different style first. Like each individual style, what they have, like the authentic elements or authentic thing, and then once we know that, then we have like the let's say the reference data. Then we just ask the student sing, and then back to the principle is to let the student feel the relation between the muscle, all the muscle, in order to create that sound that according to the reference data. For example, thank you for that. Like singing the overtones, I'll show you just a little bit. It's really hard to hear the overtone for the very like the kids then once I say that the vocal track, when we change a little bit for the vocal track, the sound also change. For example, So we heard the overtones over there, but we have a very hard time to explain to the student. But we see the overtones go up and down, up and down, up and down. Yeah.
Can I follow up just a little?
Sure.
Because my next question, I don't know, this is sort of off the topic a bit, but my curiosity is how do the teachers in traditional singing styles teach to sing styles? What do they say to their students? How do they explain to them, no, you're not doing it correctly, you must do it more this way? You can open up your chest.
I see.
I'm just curious about the types of language that they use
I see.
conveying this knowledge.
What I have experimented to my student, I have to first say that if you imagine the voice lesson, the very first voice lesson, they just ask the student to relax, to drop the jaw, to just, the thing is to correct the bad habit. And then they build on. So to answer the questions, I would love to say that I would suggest teacher to do specific element to the student. For example, the register of the singing, like for example, to see, or for example, of the onset, to teach the student onset. We all know that we have 3 types of onset, like soft, balance, and then the hard onset. We hear only that result, but we can see exactly the thing. I'll show you. The second thing. So you see that the very first starting point is just like very blur and not with the air around here. But the second thing is balance is more clear at that time. And the second thing is like very much of the amplitude of the volume. So I think this is the first example to let students know how their onset works.
Question. I like your point, John Lawrence. I think it's very important to define the term projection, whether we are on the classical music singing or we are on the ethnic or the folk style. So I think it's quite difficult to compare because when we do the first example, it seems to be the one without the projection is less support. So I think it should be the same thing. It should have the same support in terms of singing in order to see the result. And the second point is, I think in terms of projection, on the classical side, it's very clear how to do it, as you mentioned. But on the Thai side, or even the ethnic side, we have our own way to do the projection. Like it can be more here, but we still call it projection. I recommend and I encourage you to study more on that. It will be very interesting if we can compare on that.
Yes, I also
That's only
agree.
a suggestion.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Music as a discipline normally is very conservative, and a lot of particularly teachers are averse to new ideas, particularly ones that involve technology. Have you encountered such resistance, and what might be a resistance of a conservative voice teacher to technology like this?
Yes, I also yes, for sure that I'm being I also not right now as a student, voice student, because I need to know more about the vocal technique to teach the choir. I think what effective to me is make me so fast to understand the voice production of each part, especially for the resonator or the vocal track, which is this issue for Thai people is very hard because our valve, the way to speak is very like chan, so it's like very back way instead of classical singing, which is want the air flow out. The answer is, I think, if I be the person to introduce this kind of thing to the teacher, I would say that to introduce the way this kind of principle can fix or can reduce the time that student can easily to understand that muscle or that the way singing, to save the time, let's see, instead of to let students just memorize it, which is without who say that the correct way or not. Yeah.
Thank you very much อาจารย์
ขอบคุณมากๆเลยครับ